The chicken sandwich wars has been going on for a couple years now, and the reason the war is still going on and no one's won it is because no one's been able to defeat my special chicken sandwich. That's why today, on episode 12 of Cooking with Glenn, we're going to be looking at my chicken sandwich and why it beats every fast food chain's chicken sandwich, or at least I hope it will, because we're going to work on breading this chicken sandwich. And I say I hope it will because normally when I make a chicken sandwich, I make a grilled chicken sandwich, but I wanted to kind of keep it a little different, a little fresh, a little out of the ordinary, especially because that allows me to hone my skills as well. Now, I have my oven preheating to 400 as we speak. Normally with chicken, you really only need to cook it at 375 for about 25 to 30 minutes, but we're going to do 400 just for the purpose of this to make sure it comes out hopefully extra crispy. Now, I have my chicken breast here. Now, this is a fresh chicken breast. This is going to be a very plump chicken sandwich, but we're going to tenderize this in here. Now, you might be wondering why I have it in a bag, and that's basically because I buy my chicken in bulk. I freeze it individually, as you see here, and I take it out as I need it. I'm a single guy living alone, so, you know, that chicken will all go to waste unless I'm eating it like 4 or 3 times a day in the big packs. Now, I've prepared some interesting things here, and you'll see it as I'm doing it. Here we have our egg wash. Egg wash is pretty much used as the glue that's going to keep the flour and the breadcrumbs together on the chicken breast. Now, surprise, surprise, we have some flour and we have some breadcrumbs that I've added some interesting little things to. Now, it's just traditional breadcrumbs, but I've added some 21 seasoning salute and some red chili pepper, crushed red pepper basically, from Trader Joe's in the seasoning. Now, 21 seasoning salute is going to be interesting because it's going to give it a nice, flavorful flavor. Now, what's in here, you may be asking? Well, we have onions, spices, including black pepper, celery seed, cayenne pepper, parsley, basil, marjoram, which I mispronounced, bay leaf, oregano, thyme, savory, rosemary, cumin, mustard, and coriander. We have some garlic, some carrot, some orange peel, some tomato granules, lemon juice powder, oil of lemon, and citric acid. So we're going to have a nice seasoned chicken breast hopefully by the end of this. So let's start with the first step and tenderize this. Now, most people I've learned like to use the pointy side of the tenderizer. I like to use what I call more of the hammer side, especially because it's in the bag and I don't want plastic kind of going into my chicken under that weird sense that it would. Now, this chicken breast is 100% defrosted already, and we're just going to want to make it nice and tender. I have it on the pan already that it's going to be baked in, so that works out very well. And you want to make sure it's nice and tender, so when it cooks, you're going to get a nice, you know, not punched up chicken breast that a lot of people don't like. Now we're going to start by putting it in the egg wash. And that's going to be a first important step. Because like I said, the egg wash is going to act as the glue for the flour and for the breadcrumbs. And we want to make sure it's double egg washed, as you're going to see once I figure out how to work a Ziploc bag, as to why this is going to work out very well. Now, with that being said, we're going to throw out the Ziploc bag because we're not going to need it for the rest of this. And the egg wash, you know, is pretty much, I put in here 3 eggs, some water, and a little touch of salt to help the holding process and probably a little bit of the flavor. Now, you're going to want to make sure, obviously, you wash your hands before handling any type of poultry. And for all intents and purposes of this Cooking with Glenn episode, things are going to get a little messy, at least for now. I'm going to clean that up all by the end of this because we're going to have time to. Now, this whole process is going to take about, I want to say a half hour. There's going to be some prep in between. Now, we got a nice floured chicken breast, as you've noticed. So we're going to re-dip it in the egg wash. Now, some of the flour might come out, but that's not really going to be a big issue. Now, as it's all sticking, we're going to start pouring some of the breadcrumbs. Now, normally I would be a little bit afraid of cross-contamination with this, but it's all going to be cooked, so any type of germs will kind of disintegrate. Now, we want to make sure we're getting a nice a mix of the spices and the breadcrumbs on each side. We're going to do this until it looks like how it should. And how it should, I mean, you know, you're going to want to make sure it's nice and crispy. Now, I'm not frying this only because I usually bake a lot of my stuff, and frying it's going to cause more of a hassle, and you get all that excess oil and stuff. So now we're going to flip it over. We're going to make sure we get the other side as well. Now, I know just by the smell of this already, it's going to taste very, very good. Now, I'm hoping, for that matter, it doesn't come out looking a mess like I know it will. Naturally, too, as you're doing this, a lot of breadcrumb isn't going to probably 100% stay on, but that's fine, because as we're baking it, it's going to become crispy and hopefully golden brown. Now, I do love a home style like chicken breast where it's baked and all that. Now, you can see the oven is ready, and we have such a good amount of like breadcrumb on here that I think we're going to be good. So, we're going to put this in the oven, and we're going to let it cook for about 35 minutes. And we're going to come back afterwards and in a little bit start assembling what's going to make this my special chicken sandwich. Okay, now while we're waiting for the chicken breast to still cook, I'm going to start plating out my bun. As you can see, I've 100% or at least 70% cleaned up this area. Now we're using just a regular old hamburger bun. I'm not going to be all fancy and go get a brioche bun, but we do have some interesting things here that I'm going to be putting on this, and the order I think does matter very well in terms of texture and composition, how the sandwich is going to be able to be held within the hands. So most chicken sandwiches we see on the market right now use pickles. I'm not a big fan of pickles. I never have been, not even cucumbers. But what I am a big fan of is banana peppers, because it gives it a nice little tang. So that's going to be my kind of pickle substitute here. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to take some mayo. Now, the mayo is, for all intents and purposes of this, going to go on the bottom half of the bun. Now, I should have probably also opened this before going into here, but it's fine. Now, we're going to use some of this mayo. It's organic Trader Joe's mayo. I ran out of mayo. I had to pick it up while I was out today. And we're going to put it, like I said, on the bottom half of the bun. I don't know if it being organic makes it any bit healthier than regular mayo, but mayo isn't bad for you as long as you don't kind of use it excessively. So the bottom half of the bun is mayoed up, right? So we're going to close this up now. And then what I want to do is we're going to put the lettuce next. Now, what I have here is chopped romaine hearts. I'm not a big fan of the whole shredded lettuce game unless it's on like a sub sandwich, but romaine is filled with vitamin A. It's really good for you. Just make sure you wash it before using it because, you know, E. coli and stuff like that. So we're going to put that there. Then what we're going to do, I think we're going to make this a little interesting. We're going to then take what I have here. This might look like regular cheese to you guys, but this is actually horseradish cheddar by Black Bear, also known as Dietz and Watson outside of the ShopRite area. Fun fact there, Dietz and Watson makes ShopRite meat, according to them. So we're going to do that. So we're going to put that there. And then we're going to wait, right? Because then on the other half of the bun, we're going to put some Magnifi-Sauce. Now this is Trader Joe's Magnifi-Sauce. It's a tangy secret sauce. It's a tangy sauce of secret proportions, it claims. What this basically is, it's like Mac sauce from Big Macs. But we're going to put this instead of doing like a ketchup or mayo, because a Thousand Island dressing type of flavored sauce is going to be very, very tasty. Now on this side, what we want to do is this is where we're going to start dressing it up with the banana peppers. Now, banana peppers, if anyone hasn't had them, they're not really like hot peppers. Like I said, they're kind of a tang. So they're going to add a nice flavor to this chicken sandwich. And I put about 4 or 5. You know, that's more than enough. A lot of the pickle people, they only put 2 at the chains. But then what we're going to do, we're going to have a second slice of cheese there. And it's going to be Colby Jack cheese. Because I think with a horseradish cheddar and a Colby Jack, it's going to give a nice variety for anyone who likes super duper flavors like I do. So, with that being said, the bun is plated out now. We're just going to wait for that chicken to be done. And we're going to put this together and give it a nice little taste. I may, depending how big it comes out, because meat tends to shrink when you cook it, have to cut it in half and then use the other for maybe a second chicken sandwich in my free time. But we'll see when that time comes. Now, as you guys could see, the chicken breast is fully cooked. I did end up having to cook it a little bit longer, about 5 minutes extra longer on 425 instead of 400, just to make sure it was going to be fully cooked. Now, I am probably going to end up cutting this in half. If you could see, this thing is still massive. But we're going to let it sit. We're going to let it cool down. With the air hitting it, you can see it's kind of browning a little bit more as I'm kind of just sitting here. It's crazy how that works. But yeah, we're going to cut it in half. We're going to plate it. Then we're going to test it out. So let's hope this ends up tasting really, really good. So this ended up actually cooking really nice on the inside and cooking all the way through. As you can see, it's nice, flaky, and white. It does have a little bit of like a pop to it. It's probably because of, I don't know, maybe the amount of flour that was there, a little bit of the breadcrumb, but it does look and smell very nice. Now, I think for the purposes of this review, we're going to use this piece of chicken. It's not dripping or anything. It's dropping breadcrumbs, but you can see both sides here really nicely cooked, really nicely crispy. And we're going to put it obviously on the bottom of the bun. We're going to plate it up. Now, this part's important. You got to make sure the flop is completely awesome so it doesn't fall off, right? I'm obviously just kidding about that, but we're going to flop it and we're going to let it sit like this for a couple minutes just so the cheese starts to melt. Now, once the cheese starts to melt, then we're going to do the taste testing. This piece of chicken actually looks really freaking good. I might eat that in the meantime. But yeah, we're going to want that cheese to start melting. It actually is looking like a very well put together chicken sandwich, if you can see that. And I think in a couple minutes I'm going to come back to it and it's going to be time for the taste testing. Guys, it's time. Let's get this taste testing underway and let's find out if my chicken sandwich wins the chicken sandwich war amongst all these fast food chains. Now we can see that the cheese is starting to melt nice. Obviously I would have wanted the cheese to melt a little bit more, but it is melting based on just the heat of the chicken. Now before we dive into this, let's recap the ingredients we have. We have some romaine lettuce, horseradish cheddar cheese. I'm a cheesehead, I needed the cheese on here. We have some organic mayo, regular mayo will probably do just fine. Banana peppers instead of pickles, Colby Jack cheese, and some Magnificauce. Now, I wanted to make a recipe that was a little unique, a little different. And for my first time really breading chicken in a long, long time, because like I mentioned, I usually do everything kind of just grilled chicken breast. This came out very nice, a little poppy, but like crispy and fully cooked. So that's really what matters. And with the different amounts of seasoning, as I mentioned, the 21 seasoning salute, the red pepper, crushed red pepper, and, you know, regular old breadcrumbs. Let's see how this bad boy tastes. I'm going to take another bite, because I didn't get any of the banana peppers in that bite, unfortunately. Because I didn't really get a lot of the roll in itself. There was chicken sticking out. Chicken sticking out. But you know what? I think this chicken is about to be sticking out as well. So, gotta wipe my hands a little bit. Got a little bit of that Magnificauce on it. Now, not to toot my own horn here, but this is one banging chicken sandwich. Now, I'm happy it's nice and tender, nice and juicy, just like I wanted it to be. I was afraid it was going to be kind of tough, kind of rugged, because sometimes when I tenderize stuff, I don't tenderize it apparently at all. For that being said, I've never made a chicken sandwich this way before. I've had the banana peppers, I've had the cheese, but I've never really done the combination I have. This is really good for an at-home chicken sandwich, a homemade, home-style, I want to call it, chicken sandwich. It's crispy, it's juicy, the chicken is actually very succulent, and it just has such a wide variety of flavor to it. Between the banana pepper, the magnificent sauce, the two different types of cheeses, which immediately give it a different flavor, and just the flavoring of the seasoning that was added with the breadcrumbs. I am a big fan of this, and I think I'm going to start making these for my friends. Now, how does this compete with fast food chicken sandwiches? Well, it's interesting because it's definitely a lot healthier to an extent because it's not fried. And with that being said, it's not as greasy, but it's crunchy and it's juicy from the chicken, and all the flavors are there. It actually feels like and tastes like a very fresh sandwich because all the ingredients are kind of fresh. But I like it. I'm going to start making this again. Now I know I can bread chicken without it being a catastrophe, so I'm proud of myself for that. And with this only being, like a 20-30 minute job in total, it actually turned out very well. Now you can make multiple of these if you have a big enough baking tray and feed the family in about a half hour. And it was kind of fun to make. I like the ingredients. I like the flavor. I think you guys should check this out. Do I think I won the chicken sandwich war? Well, for a home-style chicken sandwich that I made at home by myself, I think I won the war in my own head, right? And that's the easiest thing, is when you think you're the best, the food's going to be the best. And, I'm not just saying that, because this is actually a lot tastier than I thought it would be. In all honesty, like I said, I just kind of winged it, threw everything together. Hoped it was going to taste good. That bite was actually very spicy, so that probably has the red pepper seasoning kind of correlated in a spot there. That was delicious, guys. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, everyone who's watched. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. How would you make a home-style chicken sandwich? What do you think of how I did? As always, until next time, thank you for tuning in to episode 12. Episode 12 of Cooking with Glenn. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Consistently, we made episode 11 earlier in the week. And hopefully, maybe next time, I'll work on making some pizza. Does that sound good for you guys? What do you want me to make? Leave it down below. I'll catch you next time. Leave me a subscribe. Have a good one. Stay happy, stay healthy, enjoy your holidays. See ya. Bye.